Good evening. You cannot control the behavior of others, but you can always choose how you respond to it. Welcome to BMC News Live in English, brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. I am Vinod Narayanan, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines. Bahrain and British investment cooperation discussed. Bahrain's COVID strategy praised in WHO report. 18 value-added tax violations reported and legal measures taken. Commanders of the ground forces of the GCC Armed Forces 20th meeting started. Saudi Arabia likely to cut VAT rate. UAE launched new mobile visa screening clinic for workplaces. News in detail. Bahrain and British investment cooperation discussed. Industry, Commerce and Tourism Minister Zayed bin Rashid Al Zayani and British Secretary of State for International Trade Anne-Marie Trevelyan discussed bilateral investment cooperation and new opportunities to expand partnerships that serve the two countries in development of strategies. Al Zayani affirmed the role of the UK as a major global partner, stressing steadily growing economic ties and long-standing historic relations between Bahrain and Britain. He highlighted joint strategic visions which yielded key deals, particularly the free trade agreement between GCC member states and Britain, which represents a historic turning point in trade and investment relations. Bahrain seized salmonella-contaminated peanut butter. A quantity of US-made Jif peanut butter products suspected of being contaminated with salmonella has been seized based on the warning of the Food and Drug Authority. Food control inspectors have confiscated the suspected products during intensive inspection campaign at markets and hypermarkets, said the Ministry of Health. It was found that a small amount of Jif peanut butter was imported, according to the serial batch number specified in the International Risks into Warnings System, whose operational numbers start from 127445 to 2140425. The ministry stressed keenness to take the necessary measures to enhance health and safety, to follow all health and preventive measures in this regard, in order to ensure the food commodities conform to international standards, quality and safety standards. Consumers who have such products bearing the aforementioned brand and batch number referred to in the warning are urged to return them to agents in retail stores. Bahrain's COVID strategy praised in WHO report. Bahrain's real-time data from its COVID-19 war room led the country to its success story with tackling the pandemic, said a global report. The WHO 2020-21 end of biennium reports on Bahrain on Tuesday noted that the data-driven approach placed the country on its international health emergency network, supported by the WHO country office headed by Dr. Tansim Atratra. Fresh plan to tackle dilapidated housing. Out with the old and in the new may become part of housing policy if MPs get their way in tackling issues over urbanization and dilapidated housing stock. A move to allocate a percentage of new bills specifically for families living in older areas has already won the backing of Muharraq Municipal Council. 18 value-added tax violations reported and legal measures taken. 18 value-added tax violations have been reported during inspections of trading outlets. The Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Tourism started the inspection clampdown in cooperation with the National Bureau of Revenue ever since the amended VAT law took effect early this year. 40 trading outlets have been inspected across Bahrain to ensure adequate implementation of the readjusted VAT. And violators could face fines up to 10,000. Competent authorities are taking legal measures against the violating establishments as well outlets which were found guilty of tax evasion. Lawbreakers can jailed for 5 years and fined 3 times the amount evaded. Bahrain plans to double the size of its tourism in 5 years. Bahrain is confident to attract 14 million visitors annually by 2026 as it almost doubles its tourism sector's contribution to economic output to 11.4%. The kingdom's accelerated tourism push will build on previous achievements in tandem with plans to build up its business event sector while boosting growth from foreign markets. Events including regular fixtures such as the Formula One GP or the IISS Manama Dialogue are part of the marketing strategy for attracting visitors, but there will also be an emphasis on business conferences and meetings. A new exhibition and convention center called Exhibition World Bahrain is expected to be ready in November. Mr. Zaini said it would create business opportunities for joint ventures and foreign direct investment into Bahrain when bringing all these big conventions in all these people from around the world. Bahrain's commitment to peace highlighted. The peace declaration accord signed between the Kingdom of Bahrain and the State of Israel reflects the wise approach of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, said His Majesty the King's advisor for diplomatic affairs, Sheikh Khalid bin Ahmed bin Muhammad Al Khalifa. He was addressing a session themed Future of Abraham Accords on the sidelines of the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum being held in Davos, Switzerland. He highlighted the royal vision based on openness and communication with all countries worldwide, advocating progress, the values of dialogue, tolerance and understanding. Supreme Council for Women's Secretary General praised youth participation. Supreme Council for Women's Secretary General Hala Al-Ansari held a remote meeting with the Supreme Council for Women Youth Committee members and thanked them on their dedicated efforts over the past 2 years and during the holy month of Ramadan. She commended the role of the committee, which was step up following directives from Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty the King and Supreme Council for Women President, to empower youth and prepare them for the future. Al-Ansari heard youngsters' visions, aspirations and proposals to further promote the work of the committee, stressing the council's keenness on encouraging them to be creative and explore innovative ideas. Bahrain's COVID strategy praised in WHO report. Bahrain's real-time data from its COVID-19 war room led the country to its success story of tackling the pandemic, said a global report. The WHO 2020-21 end of biennium reports on Bahrain on Tuesday noted that the data-driven approach placed the country on its international health emergency network. Today's COVID updates. COVID updates brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. The May Queen Crown Beauty Contest organized by the Indian Club will start on May 27th. The contest taking place in the Indian Club premises will feature a number of entertainment events. Report. The May Queen Crown Beauty Contest is open to unmarried young women of any age between the ages of 17 and 28 living in Bahrain. Previous years, contestants from Bahrain, India, Sri Lanka, the Netherlands, Russia, the Philippines, France and Ethiopia participated. Indian Club President K.M. Cherian said.
Indian Club is gearing up for one of his most premier and prestigious event, the Beyond Money May Queen 2022. We have lots of very elegant and smart girls, around 16 of them contesting for the event and for the title as May Queen. And we are starting the program at 7:30 and it would go on to late in the night or early morning. We would like to welcome you and enjoy the program. It is a program filled with a lot of dances. In between the rounds, there are 3 rounds, like ethnic round, casual wear and formal wear, followed by a question answer session. There will be 5 judges who will be judging the contestants, and this program is arranged by a very strong team of an organizing committee, and then we hope everyone will have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
General Secretary Satish Gopidathan said that the final round of the competition will be held in 3 rounds, which includes a question-answer round and expects the cooperation of all.
Beyond Money May Queen 2022 നാളെ ആരംഭിക്കുകയാണ്. 16 കണ്ടസ്റ്റൻസ് ആണ് ഇതിൽ മത്സരിക്കുന്നത്. ഇതിൽ വിന്നർ, ഫസ്റ്റ് റണ്ണറപ്പ്, സെക്കൻഡ് റണ്ണറപ്പ് എന്നീ ക്രൈറ്റീരിയകളാണുള്ളത്, വിജയികൾ ആണുള്ളത്. അതോടൊപ്പം ബെസ്റ്റ് ഹെയർ ഡു, ബെസ്റ്റ് സ്മൈൽ, ബെസ്റ്റ് വാക്ക്, അതുകൂടാതെ മെമ്പേഴ്സ് ചോയ്സ് കൂടെ ഉണ്ടാവുന്നതാണ്. വൈകിട്ട് രാത്രി ഏകദേശം 10-11 മണി വരെ ഉള്ള ഇവൻ്റാണിത്. എല്ലാവരും വന്ന് സഹകരിക്കുക, കാണുക.
Abhirami and Roshni will be the choreographers. The Golden Jubilee celebrations of KCA is scheduled on 28th May 2022 at Bahrain Conference Center, Crown Plaza. The program is being held under the patronage of His Excellency Jamil bin Muhammad Ali Humaydan, Minister of Labour and Social Development, and guests of honour are His Excellency Piyush Srivastava, Ambassador of India to the Kingdom of Bahrain, Reverend Dr. Abraham Mar Julius, and Advocate Sunny Joseph, Member of Kerala Legislative Assembly. The event is a tribute to the 50 years of friendship between the Kingdom of Bahrain and India. Bahrain government officials, community leaders, leading personalities from socio-cultural and sports arena will be invited guests for the finale. A few philanthropists and successful business entrepreneurs in the field of health, education and industries will be honored. As part of Golden Jubilee celebrations, KCA conducted charity dinner at Sofitel Hotel, International Volleyball Tournament, KCA Grandmaster International Online Quiz, blood donation camp, medical camp and several other programs. As part of Golden Jubilee charity activities, KCA has donated a house for a deserving family in Kerala and provided 25 wheelchairs to disabled society in Bahrain. In addition, one dialysis unit to a deserving hospital is also getting finalized. KCA President Royce Anthony, Golden Jubilee Chairman Abraham John, Core Group Chairman C.V. Mathuni, Golden Jubilee patrons and former presidents Verghese Karikal, Peter Pyle, KCA Golden Jubilee Vice Chairman K.U. Richard and Charity Convener Peter Solomon attended the press conference. Now we will be back after a very short break.
All your favorite products under one roof in Bahrain at 27-year-old Megamart and Macromart. Bakery, fresh meat and fish, fruits and vegetables, sweets and snacks, ready-to-eat foods, dairy products, grocery or consumer goods. Megamart and Macromart, full of goodness.
Welcome back. Commanders of the ground forces of the GCC Armed Forces 20th meeting started. The 20th meeting of the commanders of the ground forces of the armed forces of the GCC countries was held with the participation of the leaders of the ground forces, the Assistant Secretary General for Military Affairs, General Major General Ahmed Ali Hamid Al-Ali, and a representative of the United Military Command was present. The participants discussed a number of topics related to the joint GCC military action in the ground forces and ways to enhance this cooperation in a way that raises the high efficiency of the ground forces of GCC, Saudi press agency reported. Saudi Arabia likely to cut VAT rate. Saudi Arabia will ultimately consider cutting the rate of value-added tax, which was increased to 15% in 2020. Minister of Finance Mohammed Al-Jadaan said on Tuesday the VAT rate was tripled then to shore up finances hit by low oil prices as the pandemic hit global demand. Saudi Arabia ultimately considered cutting the VAT, but at the moment the reserves are still replenishing, he said. Saudi Arabia's policy on fiscal sustainability would ensure that reserves do not fall below a certain percentage level of the country's gross domestic product, Jadaan added. Saudi officials rules out changing laws to introduce alcohol. Assistant Minister of Tourism Princess Haifa bint Mohammed ruled out the option to change laws in Saudi Arabia to introduce alcohol in the kingdom. The official was asked in a panel session about Saudi Arabia at the World Economic Forum about the possibility of offering alcohol in new destinations such as NEOM. The official pointed out that the kingdom is doing very well when it comes to attracting tourists and opening the country for visitors from around the world. Since the kingdom introduced the new visa regime, the question that has become repeatedly asked quite often is whether the kingdom will allow offering alcohol in public like other GCC neighboring countries. Saudi officials have continuously refuted any claims that the country might loosen up on allowing alcohol in public. UAE launched a new mobile visa screening clinic for workplaces. A new mobile visa clinic that will visit employees at their workplaces has been launched in Abu Dhabi. The mobile clinic features 2 examination rooms, 2 X-ray rooms, a blood collection room and 2 waiting areas with 12 chairs. The entire procedure would take between 15 to 30 minutes, starting with registration followed by examination, blood collection and X-ray. Clients do not need to return to the mobile clinic to pick up their results, as these are integrated within the online network operated by the Federal Authority for Identity, Citizenship, Customs and Port Authority. Kuwait to build the world's largest petroleum research center. Kuwait plans to start building the world's largest petroleum research center by the end of the year. The center, to be built in Al Ahmadi, south of Kuwait city, will have 28 laboratories. It will seek to develop improved production and refining techniques that can be used by the industry for different applications, including the extraction of heavy crude and non-associated gas. Marcos Jr. proclaimed next Philippine president with huge win. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was proclaimed the next president of the Philippines by a joint session of Congress on Wednesday following a landslide election triumph 36 years after his dictator father was ousted in a pro-democracy uprising. The Senate and House of Representatives also declared that his separately elected vice presidential running mate, Sara Duterte, has won by a wide margin. She is the daughter of outgoing President Rodrigo Duterte, whose 6-year term ends on June 30th. They will lead a nation battered by COVID-19 lockdowns, crushing poverty, gaping inequality, Muslim and communist insurgencies, crime and political divisions further inflamed by the May 9 election, Associated Press reported. Pfizer to offer low-cost medicines and vaccines to poor nations. Pfizer said Wednesday that it will provide nearly 24 products, including its top-selling COVID-19 vaccine, into treatment, and not for profit prices in some of the world's poorest countries. The drug maker announced the program at the World Economic Forum's annual gathering in Davos, Switzerland, and said it was aimed at improving health equity in 45 lower-income countries. What we discovered through the pandemic was that supply was not enough to resolve the issue that these countries are having, Pfizer chairman and CEO Albert Bourla said Wednesday during a talk at Davos. Most of the countries are in Africa, but the list also includes Haiti, Syria, Cambodia, and North Korea, Associated Press reported. With that, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. every day. I am Vinod Narayan signing off from BMC News Live. Good night.